Luc Bouchard with SolveAct Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach for 22 years, and I specialize in men's issues and what keeps men stuck. Welcome. Today is the 21st video of the 72-day challenge. Our weekly theme is ego. We are in our third week. Our focus is the life skills process and what I do in my coaching practice. And I'm specifically going to talk today about taking people from being unconsciously incompetent to unconsciously competent, and how that looks and how that works in my practice. And I'm going to use some examples about that. But first I want to talk about my actual training. When I became a certified life skills coach, it was a very intense process, and it was a lot of learning and a lot of changing a lot of my beliefs and a lot of my behaviors. And it was 1,000 hours of direct supervision with the trainers in training. And this was not easy. There were long days, and it's been very rewarding, but we worked, and we worked hard. And the life skills process is really about helping people understand what their emotions are and what their feelings are, and what drives their behaviors through their feelings. And as a life skills coach, you have to be extremely clear. If you're going to teach people on how to get clarity, you have to be clear on what your stuff is. And if you're going to be ostentatious enough to say that I'm going to help people, you best have your act together and you best understand what drives you. So a third of the coach's training was really about getting in touch with your own stuff and understanding what gets in your own way. And I, like everyone else, had a lot of stuff that got in my way, and I had to learn about, my belief systems and how to identify feelings and how to be in touch with feelings. And after I became certified, then I started coaching. I was sent up into the Arctic Circle in the Yukon Territory to a fly-in reserve called Old Crow, where there's no roads. It was like totally isolated. And that was my first coaching experience, and I have had many other coaching experiences. And that's when I discovered that group facilitation is actually my first love. So I'm going to illustrate the background of from taking people from being unconsciously incompetent to unconsciously competent through a client that I was working with a while ago. And we're going to call him Rick. Of course, it's not his name. But Rick came to me with a lot of dissatisfaction in relationships. And he was quite upset that he wasn't with the way people were treating him and the way people were handling him, and just didn't really like particularly one coworker who was not particularly very respectful, and it was actually a business partner. And so when I talked to Rick about a lot of these behaviors, what became very evident is that he had a real need to be a savior and to rescue people. And when I talked to him about that behavior, I really brought to the forefront that he was needing to, frankly, be liked, and that he wanted people to appreciate him. And so that's why he went and saved the day, and he rescued situations. And when he had a bit of disbelief about this being actually going on, I talked about, I reflected back to him a lot of other relationships. He was in his 50s, and he had a long history of saving people and being very nice guy, and he wasn't really respected. So what I did with him is I listened to him to begin with and understood a lot of where he was coming from, and I heard about what was happening for him, and that's when I helped him become aware of what I call his consciously incompetence. He was aware of the fact that he wasn't happy. He was conscious of the fact that he wasn't happy, but he didn't know what to do differently. So he was consciously incompetent. He knew something wasn't working well for him, but he didn't know what to do. And in the process of talking about his long-standing behaviors and a lot of other problematic behaviors, I was able to get him to understand his unconscious incompetence. And part of his unconscious incompetence was knowing that he was making choices that were really about wanting to be liked and wanting to be valued and wanting to be a nice guy. The problem with this is that because he was a nice guy and he always settled and he just accepted bad behavior from people because he wouldn't put up boundaries, people treat him like crap. After I brought him to awareness about his unconsciously incompetent, I was able to illustrate some more about his conscious incompetence and behavior that he makes. And I know that this is a quick overview. If you want to learn more, come see me. We'll talk. From there, after he became conscious of his incompetency, I then worked with him on becoming more aware of when else he was having problematic behavior and also his conscious incompetence. And so we really brought to the forefront. We actually saw what he was doing on a regular basis and saw how he was engaging in those lifelong patterns. And what we're working on right now, and what we're continuing to focus on, is getting to a point where he is unconsciously competent. And that is where he's just basically, he engages in behaviors where he doesn't need to think about it anymore and he's making different choices. What we need to understand about these four particular things is that if you have a lifetime behavior of being unconsciously incompetent, it's not going to change overnight. It's not going to just simply go away because that you've been aware of the fact that you're a nice guy, and or your payoff to be a nice guy is to have people like you so they don't abandon you or they don't dismiss you or whatnot. And these are long-standing behaviors that take a while to change. They're definitely changeable. They're definitely doable. It's really about that joke I spoke of last week, that a week ago today, or 7 days ago, and that was how many how many life skills coaches does it take to change a light bulb? And that's only one. And if the light bulb wants to change, well, Rick has got to want to change his behavior. He's got to want to do something different, because wanting it and it happening are two different things. So that's the process that I go through with people about taking them to a different awareness, because down here, when you're unconsciously incompetent, you literally do not know what you don't know. And that's okay. How we figure out we're not functioning very well is because we have people tell us, or we have situations where it's like, I don't know why I keep on happening. I don't know why I can never show up on time. I don't know why people treat me like crap. I don't know why I keep losing work. We're unconscious. And if we knew, we would do it differently. I believe that people will always make better choices when they have information. And this is a model that gives people information, saying, did you know that? No, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, well, this is what's going on. Another word for this, unconsciously incompetence, is your blind sides. And that's why we need other people to basically look for us and say, there's something over here. Because you can't see it. You got a blinder on. And that's why we get help from others, to basically go, I can see what you can't see. And the life skills coaching process is one about helping people understand what they don't know, bring it to their awareness, and then make them see it on how pervasive it is in their lives, because long-standing issues that have been going on for a while are insidious. They happen in many different places in their lives and we don't even see it. And I know with lots of people saying, you're going to see this showing up. Now that you have this awareness that you're conscious of your incompetence, you're going to see it in many different places. You're going to be surprised as to the places it comes up. And I would usually name a couple of them, and they would go, no, I don't think so. And then they'd come back to me and say, wow, you were right. It really is in all those different places. And I'm not just talking about, stuff about people enhancing skill set. I'm talking long-standing behaviors that people have had for a while. Once people are aware of where they're incompetent, then they can actively make choices if they're motivated, if they desire to do it differently, and that's when they become consciously competent, and they can see it, and they can go, oh, okay, I'm not going to make that choice again. Oh, here I do. Here I go. I'm making that choice again. I'm picking this kind of relationship yet again. Or this type of person is in my life again, or I'm finding myself in this situation yet again. Whereas before it was like, that just seems to happen. Now it's like you recognize it as a pattern. And that's when you become consciously competent. The unconsciously competent is really very cool when you basically go, you just don't even deal with it anymore because it's so old. It's no longer behavior that you have to engage in. So you've really shed it. You've worked away. You've done away with it. And maybe you might fall back in old patterns, but you see it a lot quicker and you have a lot better understanding. So I guess in many ways, what this really comes down to is, I'm going to zoom in here so I can get nice, close and personal. Hello, as I get closer. In many ways, what we're really talking about is what you'll hear me talk about at the end of most of my videos, and that is, what do you deserve? What do you want in your life? And what do you expect out of life? Because if you are constantly having problems and you don't know what they are, and you're constantly running into having stress and grief with people and having conflictual relationships, well, what's your part in that? And what do you want to be different? And what would you like to be different? And what are you deserving of? And that's why we need to seek help, because we don't know what we don't know. And that's okay. Until you keep stepping on the rakes and they smack you in the face. And the question is, maybe you want to stop walking in a place where there's so many rakes. It's no one's fault but your own, in a lot of ways. So I encourage you to get some coaching and seek some help to understand what gets in your own way. You get to have your issues. We all do. It comes with having a belly button. It's just, I often ask people, what's your payoff to have them? What do you get out of them? What does it afford you to have problems in your life? Long-standing problems, like issues that have been going on for decades sometimes. What's your payoff? For Rick, who was, wanted to be to help people and whatnot, his payoff was so that people would like him. And he's a really nice guy, but he wasn't really being responsible to himself. He was being responsible to everyone else, and guess what? People treat him like crap. It's like, well, go on there with your bad self then. Continue to be treated that way until you decide you don't want to do it anymore. You're the one losing sleep, not me. And you can do this, you can start addressing this now and get on with it and get some resolution to it, or come see me in a decade. Your choice. Luc Bouchard with Solvac Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach, loving it for the 22 years I've been doing it, because it has really brought me a lot of clarity and peace of mind in so many ways about what drives my behaviors. And that can be for you too. Seek help. Get someone to give you a hand. And figure out what you're deserving of and what might happen if you embrace a lifestyle of taking responsibility for yourself. It's pretty free and clearing, let me tell you. I hope you have a great day. And tomorrow is day 22, and if memory serves, I'll be cooking hamburgers, my gourmet hamburgers, and they're nummy, and I hope you tune in for that. Okay, take care. Have a great day.